Okay, awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us today. This is Jasper and Naomi. They are living in Panama City, have been living here for a little over a year, came on tour with us back in April 2022, back when I was still doing the tours. So I got to spend a whole week with you guys, which was really fun. And now you're like our go-to experts in Panama City. So can you give us a little bit of background about you guys, where you're from, and what made you want to start even considering this adventure to Panama?
Well, okay, so she's hitting me, so I get to answer. We're consummate travelers. We love to travel. We like to experience, different places, different cultures. And when it came close to Naomi retiring, America was getting a bit expensive. It was getting a little crazy. We thought like somewhere else as a base to go and explore around. So we looked at various places, Europe, we looked at Portugal, Spain, we looked at other South American countries like Costa Rica. We thought whichever we landed in would be a good base to explore a lot of places where we hadn't really explored that much before. And Panama just turned out to be the easiest place, almost. That was almost the choice, and obviously we loved it. We deliberately wanted to visit first to actually see what it was going to be like. But when we done our tour, we thought, yep, this is great. We love it. So.
And, just to say, so we started in New Mexico, which is where we were living before we made the move here. So the initial attraction to Panama, like Jasper said, was more the geographic location, because it felt like, okay, this is a big move, but not too big a move. And, we can explore South America, which we wanted to do. But then we started digging in and doing actual research. And what we discovered was when they do polls of expats and where the best places they felt were for retirement, is Panama was literally always number one. And then we started researching like the healthcare, the tax structure, what advantages you get when you're a retiree in the country, even if you're an expat. So, it's like most things, you make a decision based on emotion, or I do, and then you get the facts to back that up and just to sort of confirm your initial thought. And that's how we landed on Panama. And then we found out about your tours and we thought, well, that's perfect. That's just a great way to see the country, see a little bit of all that the country has to offer, and get a sense if it would be right for us. And so that's how we ended up on your tour, and that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, and you touched on it a little bit about why you chose Panama City specifically. I mean, the convenience, the connectivity, but can you talk a little bit more on that?
Yeah, when, all the places that people get shown on your tour, they're all lovely and they're all unique. And they all have something to appeal to most everyone. But as we thought about day-to-day living and what we're used to, like I'm originally from New York City, and Jasper he's lived in London and he's traveled around the UK. But for us, we really like the idea of being in a city, in a metropolitan area, the accessibility of healthcare, the variety of providers here was appealing to me. The variety of neighborhoods was really appealing to us. The diversity of the population. So, if you choose to only surround yourself with American expats, you can certainly do that. But I have to say our circle of friends contain very few American expats. I don't even know if we have any close friends that are American expats yet. So we really, the diversity of the city really appealed to us.
I think also the social aspect. we like to get involved in things. We like to, you know, go out and meet friends and eat, and we're members of different groups. And there was much more opportunity to do that in the city rather than, say, Buckette, which we were originally looking at. So yeah, it's a city of 2 million people. There's pretty much anything you're interested in, you can do. You know, so that's a big attraction for us.
Well, and the other thing is, if you want to jettison a car when you move here, this is an ideal place to do it, because you can get by very well without a car. And that's what we've been doing. I mean, we Uber most places. We've taken the bus a few places. We walk, we use the metro. So if cutting a car out of your budget is appealing to you, especially as a retiree, then this is a good place to do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of you guys is retired, one is still working. So what does your day-to-day life look like in the city?
Well, as for me, I'm the one who's retired. I usually start my day with a walk in the park, literally, that's like a few blocks away from us. We're located near a large metropolitan park called Parque Omar. So my day usually starts with getting up and dealing with the cats. And then I'll go to the park and I walk in the park for about an hour. And then I'll come back and I'll usually do a little bit of a workout on top of that. And then the rest of my day will usually consist of shopping or baking, or, you know, it sounds like I'm just kind of a useless taker up a space, but those kinds of things. But we do participate in a lot of events. I'm in a community choir, so once a week I go to choir practice, and then sometimes during the week I'll practice here. And we spend time entertaining friends here at the apartment or going over to their apartments. And like Jasper alluded to, we're members of different groups and they have different types of events. So our time may be spent preparing or attending those types of events. So, but a typical day for me is pretty laid back, because I'm the one who's
well, you've earned it.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, and Jasper, how's it been transitioning working in Panama? Have you always worked remotely?
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly for the last, I guess, 15 years at least. So when we were in Albuquerque, I worked from home, a laptop. As long as you've got good internet, which you do here, I can pretty well work from anywhere. So our apartment had a little office space, which was again an attraction for choosing it. And yeah, I only work part time, so you know, again, it's I try not to work too hard.
Yeah, you got to enjoy that Panama life. Get out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love the city. Okay, so one thing that we hear a lot in the city is like it's very hot in the day or too much traffic. I mean, obviously those are people that aren't city people where you guys are, but what would you have to say to those people that think like maybe it's too busy or too hot for me?
Well, it is busy. I mean, when I go and take my walks, every time I come back, I feel like I've cheated death, because I'm like, oh, I made it through the traffic. The taxi drivers, you just have to keep your wits about you. But like you said, Megan, it's a city. It's a big city. And like any big city, there's going to be noise. Some parts of the city have more cacophony than other parts of the city. It is hot, but I mean, I feel like I'm adapting, and I think I've just sort of reconciled myself to, okay, I'm going to be a sweaty mess if I go out and do something outside. So
until the evening, though, right?
Oh, the evenings are lovely. The evenings, as soon as the sun starts going down, or if you hit a cloudy day, I mean, the clouds are really nice. Or like this park that I go to has a ton of shade. So as you live here, you know, it's like before we lived in New Mexico, we lived in Phoenix. So again, we're used to, you have to adjust to the climate that you're in, and that's just part of it. But I have to say, I've lived in the deep South in the United States, and that heat and humidity to me felt worse than what I've experienced here.
Yeah, at least it's pretty consistent here.
Yes, I mean,
fair enough.
I've never been fond of humidity, but I don't actually have much trouble here at all. There's the days where you can really feel it. Maybe once or twice a week, if that, and it depends again on the season. As long as you've got a bit of breeze, you're fine. I mean, the direct sunlight can be brutal if you're out walking. I mean, you're like somebody like me will burn very easily. But yeah, I mean, for a lot of the time, it's fairly rainy, so you get a lot of cloud, and then you're fine. I think, as somebody who really hates humidity, I haven't struggled at all here. So
beautiful. And do you find yourself, you use the AC? Speaking on that, what is your housing like? Did you rent? Did you buy? Where did you decide to move? And how was that process of finding your place now?
Well, we're renting, and we used the real estate connections that you guys provided. And we actually found our realtor through one of the realtors that you guys recommended, but he had this woman who dealt specifically with the city. So about 4 to 5 months before we actually came down here, we were in communication with her, and we would go online and find apartments that appealed to us. And obviously we knew they weren't going to be here when we got here, but we wanted her to see what was appealing to us. So when we came here, we were in an Airbnb for 30 days. And during that time, that was our apartment hunting time.
Perfect.
So yeah, so she knew what we were looking for. And this was actually the second apartment. I think it was the third, because she showed us one and then another one in this complex, and then this one.
It was the first day we went out looking. She had a list for us to go out and look at, and this was the second or third we looked at. And I mean, our basic criteria, neither of us have ever lived by the sea, and we both always wanted to. So having that sea view was really important to us. And being near the park as well. So
and having a swimming pool. I mean, we had our lists that were deal breakers that we had to have. And
it's a 3-bedroom apartment. So we had a 3-bedroom place in Albuquerque. So we knew that was that was the size we needed.
Yeah, it's about 2,000 square feet. It's 3 bedrooms. It's 5 bathrooms, which is just insane.
Very spacious for the city.
Yeah. Oh, it's big. Yeah, it's like 2,000 square feet. I mean, it's basically the size of our house, and it has an Olympic-sized pool and a sauna, which you can just walk outside and be in the sauna.
Yeah, got a paddle court, and it's pretty good amenities-wise, and it's got a big balcony, which was another thing that we were looking for. So yeah, it just fulfilled all the criteria. So we just jumped on it. And the other beauty of this particular apartment was that it hadn't been lived in for 2 years, and they completely renovated the whole thing, and all the appliances were brand new, never used. So so we got really lucky.
So we got lucky, and our property. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that you guys sent us some pictures,
Yep.
And we're going to put some more information about their place and some photos at the end of the video, so you guys can see more of that.
Yeah, and so the whole place, including all sort of building fees and everything else, was $1,700 a month, which was really at the top end of our what we were looking for. But yeah, when we saw the place.
And
we had to jump on it. So,
well, that includes gas and water, the
does,
$1,700, and then any fees like HOA, 2 parking spaces, which obviously we don't use, and then we pay for internet and electricity.
Oh, great! So almost includes everything. Just internet and electric you pay.
And the electric has been really, for the size of the place, it's been easy to keep that down. Price-wise, because I don't know if they have the split coolers here, so each room has its own cooling unit. So if we don't cool any room that we're not physically in, and that's what our realtor told us. She said, don't use your cooler if you're not in the room.
And we don't even use it all the time. I mean, for the majority of the time, except when it gets really humid, we don't need it. It's fine, and often we'll just have the windows open on each end
Yeah, we
and
get
let
a
the
good
breeze.
cross
Yeah.
breeze, yeah.
Yeah, all the way up there. Beautiful.
So,
Cool. And what has been something surprising about moving to Panama?
For me, I think the most surprising thing was the lack of culture shock, to be honest, because like I said, I lived in the Deep South and that was more of a culture shock to me, having never lived there before. When we came here, I was surprised at how smooth the transition was. And you know, the people that we've encountered here, and everybody's just been so lovely.
Yeah.
And the locals have been so helpful and lovely. So I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but I didn't think it would be as smooth a transition as it was.
well, and a lot of that's down to
I was
you
just going to
guys.
say, yeah, we owe that to you
Yeah.
guys because you had put us in touch with so many
Yeah.
contacts that,
Good.
you know, helped us with getting established and the day-to-day necessities of living anywhere. Yeah.
The thing that surprised me, I think, was the quality and the cheapness of the healthcare. I mean, one of the big reasons we wanted to get out of America, as you get older, healthcare becomes more an issue, and it's just the costs in America are just becoming crazy. But you know, we have sort of basic catastrophic insurance, costs us like $230 a month. For the two of us, you know, not $600
and we're old.
each.
I'm almost
Yeah.
70 and he's like, well, he's not
65,
far
yeah, yeah.
behind.
But yeah, and I've had to access sort of a couple of times for medical care, and it's been, I mean, it's almost like you pay in cash because it's so cheap. You know, a doctor's visit, I mean, we can do it on insurance for like $15 cost, but I mean, if you were put to pay out of pocket, you pay $50, you know. So it's almost like in medications, you just pay out of pocket because it's so cheap. So that was the big surprise, and you know, the ease and quality of the healthcare here, and the cheapness of it was just.
We've both been
perfect.
very pleased
Mhm.
because in the year we've been here, we've each had some issues already. And for each of us, the experience has been just really good.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I was impressed.
Hmm.
Okay, we have 2 questions left for you guys. One is a little testimonial. How was your experience on tour with us? And after tour support, did you guys end up bringing pets here?
Yes.
Yeah, we brought our 2 cats, and God bless Rod.
Yes.
We had some issues in terms of the paperwork not getting where it had nothing to do with Rod. Let me say that from the outset.
FedEx.
It was someone's going to get sued. But yeah, we had some real issues, but Rod was with us every step of the way, and he greased the skids when we got to the airport here in Panama, and had already spoken to the vet, and we were allowed in, even though we had some issues getting the stamp paperwork together. So, but I mean, in terms of you guys and the services, the aftercare, as I've started to think of it, is just it's just second to none.
Yeah.
Because you guys, because of you, we have a fabulous insurance broker, the health insurance broker we have. She was sent from heaven.
Yeah.
This woman is actually acting as our advocate. She speaks fluent English, and she obviously knows the insurance system here.
Yeah.
And I worked in insurance for many years before I retired, and it's still difficult, you know, to navigate insurance. And she's just been a blessing, and the realtor and the attorney, and you know, Rod with the cats. So
yeah, having your support system in a new country, it makes all the difference.
It's everything.
It's huge.
It's everything. Yeah, I just don't even want to think.
Don't feel alone those first months.
Yeah,
because a lot of those things are very difficult to navigate when you don't know the way countries work in such different ways.
The language
And the bureaucracy here, and they literally like held our hands through the whole process, and it was just made it so easy.
And they still make themselves
Yep.
available. We misplaced one of our cedulas temporarily,
Mm.
and our attorney's just like, no problem.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get
yeah.
another one, not to worry, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
That's one of the things that's really great, you know, because it's like if you come up with something that you can't handle, you know, you're just a phone call away. You say, look, this is a situation in, what do you guys recommend? Who should we talk to? And having that there in case you need it is just, you know,
you sleep better at
yes,
night.
definitely.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Okay, and then our last question we always like to ask is, what might be your advice for people who are watching this now, kind of thinking about Panama? Should I go? Should I check it out? Is it for me? Thinking back on you 2-3 years ago, what would your advice be?
My advice would be, if it's at all doable to go on the tour with Oscar and Rod and Megan in the background, to do it, because you get such valuable insights, and nothing is sugar coated. I mean, you're not taken on a tour and said, oh, you know, this is going to be so great and blah, you know. You guys are very upfront, you're very honest, and people can make a decision for themselves. But, you know, I think you can make yourself crazy when you roll things around in your head. Is it for me? Is it not for me? Should I, shouldn't I? But I think doing the tour is enough of a taste to get a really good idea if it's something that you want to explore more, if it makes you ready to make the jump right away. I mean, different people go at different paces, but I know when we meet the tour groups, we always offer our numbers, and if people have questions or they think of something later and there's anything that we can provide, because most people don't think about the city when they think about relocating here. But, you know, we're more than happy to talk to people about our experiences, both in the city and as just newbies in general. So, I mean, I think your tour was just invaluable.
Yeah, I think the one piece of advice I would give, you can research online, look at the photos as much as you like. There's nothing to actually beat being on the ground there, because it's totally different. We had very much had an idea that we wanted to go to Burkett based on our research, but having gone there and having seen some of the other places, completely changed our minds. And you can't do that unless you actually come here. So.
And not that Paquete is not great. Don't.
No, it's so
Nothing
true.
against
We
But-
so often have people who
Yeah.
they think that's going to be my town, and it's not after the tour. They love somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And that's the value of it,
Yeah.
of seeing it. And, you know, there's very few decisions that you can make that are irrevocable. So if you come to Panama and you settle in one place, and that's why, you know, I know you guys always encourage to rent first, don't jump into property purchase right away. And that's such good advice, because you can be very mobile here. And it doesn't take long to go from one environment to a completely different environment. And maybe that one's better suited to you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I would just say, give Panama a chance.
Yeah.
And come down and see it.
Check it
Yeah,
out yourself,
we
totally.
regret nothing at all.
Yeah, we regret nothing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I know all of our followers are going to be so grateful for all this good info. And if they come on tour with us, they might get to meet you in Panama City. You guys do
That would
such a
be
good
wonderful.
job. Yeah, getting to talk to our tour guests and tell them all about the city. So we really appreciate that.
It's our pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Bye, everybody.